So we have our query. Let's just delete this line here. We can see that it's worked. Right, so let's go through the code so far so we know what we've got to do next. We know if one of the parameters is not set, we print out an error. If all of the parameters are set, then we check to see if they all have a value. Okay, if they don't have a value, we print out an error. And if they do have a value and everything is hunky-dory, we now start playing with the database. So what we've got at the moment is we've set up the parameters for the database. We've said where it is at localhost, which database we're using, WPS, and the username and the password to gain access to it. We've read the variables from the post, first name, last name, and age, and we put those into variables for PHP. We've created our query using the variables we obtained from the post, and we have then set up, we haven't connected to the database, we've just said what the connection is. So we've set up here all of our details to actually connect to the database. The next thing we need to do is actually connect to it, and we have done that code before. So again, we're just going to copy and paste that code. So I'm just making a little space there. If I go back to post person, the database, or to connect to the database, is here. Okay, these lines, and we're also going to pinch that line at the bottom with result. So if I copy those, put them back into my add person, again, let's get some lining up. There we go, and job done. So let me explain what's happening here. If we don't have a connection, if we can't connect to the database, reason could be is that your internet is down or something else like that, or the database isn't live. If that happens, then we are going to fail with an error message. Let's just put that space back in there and keep consistency. I should have checked. Where are the lines? Yeah, they're fine. We're just going to keep consistency with the word fail. So if I can't connect to the database, everything's fine, but the ISP is down, the web page is down, or the database isn't running, then we're going to get a connection error. It's going to come here, and then it's going to execute this line, die. Die means just quit. Okay, we get as far as here. We're not going to bother with the rest of the page at all. We will just quit completely and give back the reason, error, connection failed, why the page died. If this doesn't work, now the thing is we don't need an else statement here. Everywhere else we've used an else statement. If it was not true, then do this. And we're not using an else statement simply because the page quits. Okay, with the die. So we don't need an else statement. So everything that happens after here is as though we got an else statement. So it's only going to run if we can connect to the database. The first thing that we do is this line, result equals MySQL query, or MySQL iQuery, be careful of that one as well, with your connection and the query string. Now result is going to have a sort of Boolean value. It's either going to be true or false or something along those lines, giving some information back as to whether it could or could not execute the query. We're not going to use that a great deal. I am going to sort of comment on here where I just need to determine what the value result contained, because that is going to be my next sort of stepping block. If it's got something in there, then we're going to do some work with it. If it's got nothing in there, then we need to quit out. So that's setting up the database. We've now connected to it, hopefully, and now we've actually sent the query to the database. And we have got whatever the results are back in the value result. It's either going to contain something or it's going to contain nothing.